7 wishes can change a man's life, but in Imisa's case they merely proved what a fool he'd married. In the ancient Elle kingdom of Omago, wealth wasn't just a measure of success, it was everything. Among the sprawling marketplace and grand houses of successful traders lived Imisa, a modest farmer whose small mud hut stood in stark contrast to his neighbors' affluent dwellings. Imisa's wife Ina never let him forget their station. With a figure as plain as their circumstances, she would often gaze enviously at the well-dressed wives of wealthy merchants, particularly her sister Chamaka, whose curves attracted admiring glances from passing traders. "If only I had my sister's figure," she would lament, "I wouldn't be stuck with a man who has the courage of a lizard and the belly to match." Their twin sons, Ima and Ikena, inherited their mother's sharp tongue rather than their father's gentle nature. At just 10 years old, they were already known throughout the village as troublemakers, their mischievous laughter often accompanied by complaints from neighbors about missing items or disrupted peace. "Papa, why are we so poor?" they would taunt, their young faces twisted in mockery. "Even the village drunk has more coins than you." While other men in Omago pursued wealth through cunning trades and daring hunting expeditions, Imisa tended his small farm with quiet dedication. It wasn't that he lacked the intelligence for trade or the skill for hunting, he simply couldn't stomach the risks and schemes that seemed to come naturally to his peers. The villagers would whisper as he passed, their voices carrying tales of missed opportunities and wasted potential. "There goes Imisa," they would say, "the man who fears his own shadow." Yet Imisa continued his simple life, working his land with the same patience he showed his scornful family. Each evening, as the sun set over the kingdom, Imisa would return home to Ina's biting remarks about their meager dinner, while the twins orchestrated some new mischief in the corner. The modest hut seemed to shrink under the weight of their collective dissatisfaction, its mud walls absorbing years of unfulfilled dreams and bitter accusations. But in Omago, where wealth danced through the streets in gleaming coins and elaborate robes, Imisa's honest poverty stood out like a scar on the face of prosperity. Little did he know that his steadfast honesty, so often mocked by his neighbors, would soon attract the attention of powers far beyond the mundane world of trade and profit, powers that would test not just his integrity, but the very fabric of his family's existence. In the cramped confines of their mud hut, Ina stirred the thin soup that would serve as their evening meal. The aroma barely masked the stench of poverty that clung to their lives like a stubborn curse. Her hands, rough from years of domestic labor, moved mechanically as her mind wandered to what might have been. "Look at your father," she would tell the twins, her voice dripping with contempt, "a man who fears the very sight of coins, while others grow fat on clever trades." Her eyes would drift to her reflection in their only copper pot, lingering on her straight, plain figure that had attracted no wealthy suitors in her youth. Imisa spent his days tending their small plot of land, deliberately deaf to the whispers of opportunity that beckoned from the bustling marketplace. While other men ventured into dangerous forests for valuable game or navigated the treacherous waters of trade, he remained rooted to his safe, predictable routine. "Why take risks?" he would mutter when Ina's accusations grew too sharp. Better a poor man's peace than a rich man's troubles, but peace was a stranger to their home, driven out by the constant chorus of disappointment. Ima and Ikena, their twin sons, had already learned to wear their family's poverty like an ill-fitting garment they longed to shed. At 10 years old, they prowled the village like hungry cats, their sharp eyes noting every display of wealth, every sign of prosperity that eluded their own household. "See how Trader Obi's sons eat meat every day, Papa," they would taunt, their young faces twisted with premature cynicism, "while we scratch in the dirt for roots like bush rats." The village children had a rhyme they would sing when the twins passed Ima and Ikena, sons of the coward their father fears silver, their mother turned sour. The twins responded with fists and fury, earning them a reputation as troublemakers that only deepened their parents' shame. Each night, as darkness settled over their humble dwelling, the family would retreat to their separate corners, each nursing their own particular brand of discontent. Ina to her dreams of curves and riches, the twins to their plots of escape, and Imisa to his quiet acceptance of what fate had dealt him. None of them suspected that change was approaching on silent feet, wearing the disguise of an old blind man with a handful of coins. One fateful morning, as Imisa trudged through the village square, he spotted an old blind man sitting by the roadside. The elder's wrinkled hands clutched a mix of gold, silver, and copper coins, his clouded eyes turned skyward as he called out for help. "Kind soul," the old man's voice quavered, "would you help sort these coins? My eyes fail me, but my fingers know the difference between true worth and false promises." Villagers passed by, some pausing to snatch a gold piece while pretending to help, others dropping worthless copper in place of silver. But when Emisa knelt beside the blind man, something stirred in his heart, a memory of his own father teaching him the weight of honesty. With careful fingers, Emisa separated the coins, gold to one pile, silver to another, copper to a third. Not once did his hands stray toward deception, though his family's hungry faces flashed before his eyes. "There," he said softly, all sorted properly. He turned to leave, but the old man's voice stopped him cold. "Wait, honest one." When Emisa turned back, he gasped. The man's eyes were clear as morning dew, sparkling with ancient wisdom. A knowing smile played across his weathered face. "I am no ordinary beggar," the spirit ancestor revealed, rising to his feet with supernatural grace. "I am the guardian of 7 generations, testing the hearts of my descendants. You, Emisa, have proven worthy." The air around them seemed to thicken with power as the spirit continued. "7 wishes I grant you, one for each day of the coming week. But heed my warnings, you cannot wish for more wishes, nor can you wish death upon another. Choose wisely, for even the sweetest honey can turn bitter in a fool's mouth." Before Emisa could stammer a response, the spirit vanished like morning mist, leaving him alone with the weight of possibility pressing against his chest. His heart thundering, he raced home to share the news, unaware that his greatest test would not be in the wishing, but in withstanding the storm of desires his family would unleash. The chaos began the moment Emisa burst through their door with news of the 7 wishes. Ina, ever dissatisfied, immediately began plotting how to use this divine gift. "Wish for a big stomach," she nagged incessantly. All successful men have proud bellies worn down by her persistence. Emisa angrily granted her wish. In an instant, his flat stomach swelled like a drum, drawing mockery from his twins. Unable to sleep that night, his new belly heavy as a boulder, Emisa used his second wish by sunrise. "I wish this cursed belly gone." The relief was immediate, but Ina's fury shook their humble walls. "2 wishes wasted," she shrieked. The third wish came unexpectedly when Ina, in her rage, threw a pot that missed Emisa but struck Ikenna. The boy fell into a death-like sleep, forcing Emisa to wish for his recovery. Ina's response: "We could have waited for him to wake naturally." The 4th wish slipped out during another heated argument, with Ina and Ima's voices rising like competing drums. "I wish you would both just shut up," Emisa shouted. Their lips sealed instantly, leading to a blissful but guilty silence that lasted until he used his 5th wish to restore their speech. The 6th wish came at knife point. In the dead of night, Ina pressed a heated blade to his face. "Wish for me to have the most beautiful figure in the village," she demanded. Trembling, Emisa complied, watching as his wife's plain form transformed into enviable curves. But it was the 7th wish that proved most spiteful. As Ina paraded her new figure through the village, drawing lustful stares from every man, something in Emisa snapped. "I wish my wife would make a huge fart and lose her curves." The resulting sound echoed through the streets, followed by the deflation of Ina's newfound beauty and the cruel laughter of witnesses. 7 wishes spent, each more foolish than the last, leaving the family exactly where they started, but with fresh wounds to nurse and bitter lessons to digest. In a secluded grove, Emisa sat weeping over his squandered wishes. His tears fell silently, each drop carrying the weight of missed opportunities and foolish choices. Then, like mist forming in the morning air, the spirit ancestor materialized before him. "Your name, Emisa, means when God deems it fit," the spirit spoke, his voice carrying the wisdom of generations. "You are an honest man trapped in a village of tricksters, a gentle soul surrounded by sharp edges." The old man's eyes held no judgment, only understanding. 7 wishes I gave you and 7 lessons you learned. But the greatest wealth cannot be wished into existence. It must be earned through the sweat of determination and the seeds of patience. Through his tears, Emisa recalled his late mother's words: "Strive to be a better man every day." The memory straightened his shoulders, even as the spirit continued. "Your wife has tasted the bitter fruit of vanity. Your sons have witnessed the folly of quick fortune. Now is the time to show them a different path, one paved with honest labor and steady resolve." Rising to his feet, Emisa felt something new stirring in his chest. Not the timid acceptance of before, but a quiet strength that had always been there, waiting to emerge. Return home, the spirit advised, not as the man who feared his own shadow, but as the husband and father your family needs. True change begins not with magical wishes, but with the daily choice to be better than we were yesterday. As the spirit faded away, Emisa squared his shoulders and turned toward home. The path ahead was long, but for the first time he walked it not with resignation but with purpose. His empty hands held no magic, but his heart was full of something far more valuable, the determination to build a better life through his own efforts, one day at a time.